Anime has given us some truly bizarre isekai concepts over the years. We've seen people reincarnated as slimes, vending machines, spiders, and even viruses. So when I first heard about reincarnated as a sword, I had one simple question. How can a story about a talking sword possibly be good? It sounded like another gimmick. An idea that was funny for 5 minutes but couldn't possibly carry an entire anime. Then I actually watched it. And to my surprise, what I found wasn't just another isekai trying to stand out with a weird premise. It was a genuinely fun fantasy adventure with lovable characters, exciting action, and one of the most wholesome relationships in modern isekai. The story begins with an ordinary man who dies and is reincarnated, not as a hero or a monster, but as a magical sword. Unable to move on his own, he spends time exploring the world until he meets Fran, a young black cat girl who has spent her entire life being looked down upon because of her race. The two quickly form a partnership. The sword becomes her weapon, mentor, and protector, while Fran becomes the one capable of unlocking the sword's true potential. From that point on, the anime becomes less about an overpowered weapon and more about two individuals helping each other grow. That's what surprised me the most. The sword isn't the protagonist because he's powerful. He's the protagonist because of the relationship he builds with Fran. If there's one reason to watch this series, it's Fran. She's easily one of the most lovable protagonists in recent fantasy anime. Despite everything she's been through, she never lets her hardships define who she is. She has a clear goal. She works hard. She learns from every battle. And most importantly, she actually earns her growth. Unlike many overpowered protagonists who become unstoppable almost immediately, Fran constantly improves through training, experience, and guidance. Watching her become stronger is genuinely satisfying because every achievement feels deserved. She's brave without being reckless, cute without becoming annoying, strong without losing her innocence. It's an incredibly balanced character. The other half of this partnership is Teacher, the name Fran gives the sword. Instead of acting like an overbearing protagonist who solves every problem himself, Teacher constantly encourages Fran to think for herself. He teaches, he protects, he supports, but he never steals the spotlight. That balance is what makes their relationship feel so natural. Rather than becoming another wish-fulfillment power fantasy, the anime becomes a mentor and student story built on trust and mutual respect. Over time, their bond starts feeling less like partners and more like family. And honestly, that's where the emotional strength of the series comes from. The world itself is another pleasant surprise. It isn't the most complex fantasy setting you'll ever see, but it's detailed enough to keep you interested. There are adventurers, guilds, monsters, magic, different races, evolving skills, and a ranking system that all fit together naturally. The anime doesn't spend hours explaining every tiny detail. Instead, it lets you learn about the world alongside Fran. That approach keeps the pacing smooth while still making the setting feel alive. For an anime starring a sword, the action is far more entertaining than I expected. Every fight combines Teacher's experience with Fran's growing skills, creating battles that feel strategic instead of repetitive. Magic, swordplay, monster abilities, and teamwork all play important roles. The choreography keeps fights exciting, and the animation does a solid job of selling the impact of each battle. More importantly, every major fight pushes Fran forward as a character rather than existing purely for spectacle. One thing I really appreciated is the anime's tone. Many isekai rely heavily on fan service or harem elements to keep viewers engaged. Reincarnated as a sword takes a very different approach. Its focus remains firmly on adventure, friendship, and personal growth. That doesn't mean the story is childish, There are dark moments, dangerous enemies, and serious themes. But underneath it all is an optimistic spirit that makes the anime incredibly enjoyable to watch. It's the kind of series that simply leaves you feeling good after each episode. That said, the anime isn't without flaws. If you're expecting an incredibly deep political fantasy or a highly unpredictable story, you might find parts of it familiar. Some supporting characters don't receive as much development as they deserve, and while the world is interesting, it only scratches the surface of its larger mysteries. There are also moments where the pacing slows down before the next major adventure begins. None of these issues ruin the experience, but they do prevent the anime from reaching the absolute highest tier of fantasy storytelling. Reincarnated as a Sword could have easily been remembered as nothing more than the anime where someone becomes a sword. Instead, it became one of the most charming and heartfelt isekai of recent years. Its unique premise grabs your attention. Its action keeps you entertained. But it's the relationship between Fran and Teacher that makes you want to keep watching. Final rating: 9 out of 10. Reincarnated as a Sword is proof that even the strangest ideas can become unforgettable stories when they're built around great characters, genuine heart, and a sense of adventure.